Okay, class, welcome to part 2 of our video series on how to create our restaurant page. Okay, so where we left off at the end of our last video was we had just added the second row to our table. This video will start with adding the third row to our table. Okay, and what we need to do in order to do that is we want to copy all of the code, okay, between the TR tags of our last table row. So I'm going to highlight all of it, I'm going to right click, copy it, okay, and paste it down below. Okay, so it's going to sit right above my closing table tag. Okay, and then what I would want to do is I would go in and I would edit the third menu item, okay, change the name, I would change the price, okay, and then in my image I would go in and I would select everything in between the quotation marks to get rid of that image address, okay, backspace to get rid of it, and then I'm set up to go out and find my third image for my table. So I would go to Google, I would search for whatever menu item I want to display. Nope, not maps. Going to go back. We're going to do a image search. Let's go back. Images. Food. Alright, could go ahead and take this photo. Okay, I click on it. Then right here I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy image address. It's important to get copy image address. And we're going to close this. Come back to CodeHS and we're going to paste it in between the quotation marks. Okay, so now my image address has been added to my code. So now the image will appear over here in the table. I'm going to save it, run it. Okay, and then there is my third image for my table. Okay. So now my table content has been set up. Notice there is no border around it at this point, but that's okay. We're going to add that here in a little bit. All right, so going back to our directions, okay, we have completed step number 7. We've added the table, okay, we've added all the pieces that we need for it as well. Okay, so on to step number 8. Okay, step number 8, we're adding a background image to our page, okay, and we need to make sure that the background image allows for easy reading / viewing of text and tables added to the page. So we're going to come back. We're going to scroll all the way up, okay, in between our head tags. Remember, we added these style tags back at the beginning of the project. Okay, now we're going to go back in and we're actually going to add some style to the page. So click in between the opening and closing style tags, and then I need you to type the word body, B-O-D-Y, okay, and then you're going to put in a curly bracket. Okay, that's the key on your keyboard to the right of the letter P, and you also have to hold the shift key in order to do that. Okay, so you hold the shift key on your keyboard, and then you hit the key to the right of the letter P. Okay, now after you get that first curly bracket, immediately hit the enter key. Okay, and it's going to put in a closing curly bracket in CodeHS for us. So now inside those curly brackets, I want you to type background -image, then a colon, the 2 dots on top of each other, and then the letters URL, a parentheses, and a quotation mark. Notice how CodeHS puts in the closing parentheses, closing quotation mark, and then at the end, too, it also put in a semicolon. You need to have that semicolon there if it doesn't come into the page automatically. All right. Now, to add a background image, it's basically the same process as we did to add the images to our table. So we're going to go back to the Google Images search that we have open. Okay, and now I'm going to search for web page backgrounds. Okay, now remember, in the directions it said choose something simple, okay, that's not going to distract us from being able to view the words and the content that we've added to the page already. Okay, so we want something simple for our background, nothing too busy. Okay, I see this one right here. I'm going to take a look at it. Okay, this looks like it may work. I click on it. Okay, not seeing that one in particular, but I do see this one, and I think it might work as well. So I'm going to right-click it, and I'm going to copy the image address. Copy the image address, come back into CodeHS, and paste it in between those quotation marks. Okay, so now I'm going to save it, I'm going to run it, okay, and I do have a background image, okay, so that is good. Okay, that is what you want. You want to see your background image here. Okay, now that's step number 8. Okay, step number 9 is going to build upon this a little bit. Okay, for number 9, we need to make sure that we use at least 3 of the 4 CSS rules below, okay, related to our body tag. So the background repeat, background attachment, background position, and background size. We learned about these tags, or these style rules, back in our Freshman 101 assignment, okay, but we're going to apply them to this project. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put all 4 into my project. But remember, you only actually need 3 to meet the requirements for the project. Okay, so I'm going to put in background, dash repeat, then a colon, and I'm going to do no repeat. I don't want that background image to repeat. And it is repeating over here. I know it's tough to see with this particular image, but it is repeating and I want to get rid of that. Okay, then I'm going to do background, dash attachment, colon, fixed. Okay, that means that I want the background image to stay in the same position as I scroll up and down my page. Then I will add background dash position, colon, center. Okay, I want it centered in the page. Finally, background dash size, colon, and then the word cover. I want my image to fill the entire background space. Okay, now I'm going to save it and run it. Okay, and I can tell on my screen that it no longer is repeating. Okay, it is now filling the entire space, and it is fixed as well. Okay, I can tell on my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see that on your screen as well for your individual background image. Okay, so those are the 4 CSS body rules for the background image, okay, that we want to apply to this project. Okay, and then step number 10. Make sure to add at least 1 CSS rule to the following tags. So we want to have 1 CSS rule for the H1 tag, the H2 tag, the P tag, the table tag, table data tag, and table header tag. Okay, so we need to have 1 for each of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them all up first. Okay, I'm going to take H1 and then a curly bracket and then an enter. Okay, then I'm going to come down H2, curly bracket, enter. Okay, my P tag, curly bracket, enter. Now for my table data, and my table header one, I'm going to group those together. Okay, I'm going to apply 3 CSS rules to those. Okay, and that's actually where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with my table data, and my table header. Okay, I'm going to do border, and I want a solid border around it. Okay, then I want a border color. And I might make my border color red. Okay, and then maybe I want to have background color of blue. Okay, there would be 3 CSS rules that would be applied to my table. By no means do you have to use these CSS rules. You can choose whatever colors, whatever CSS rules that you want to apply to your table, or any of the tags for the page as well. Okay, it's totally up to you how you style your page. But let's save it, run it. Okay, and look what happened. Okay, it added a border, a solid border. It made that border red, and then it filled in the background of my table with a blue. Okay, so it did exactly what I told it to do here in the CSS style rule. Okay, now I need to add at least 1 rule to the remaining 3 tags. Okay, so for my H1 tag, maybe I'm going to add color, and maybe I'm going to make it orange. Okay, maybe around my H2 tag, I want to have a background color of purple. Okay, and maybe for my P tags, maybe I'm going to do a mix of both. For a color, I'm going to do a purple. Okay, so it's going to change the words to purple. And then background color, maybe I'm going to change it up and make it orange. Okay, so if I save it and I run it, okay, it has done exactly what I told it to do. Okay, it made the H1 tag, made the letters orange. It added a purple background to my H2 tag, and then it changed the font color, okay, or the color of the words, to purple for my paragraphs, and it added a orange background to the paragraphs as well. Okay, so you just need to have 1 CSS rule for each of the tags that you use to build out this page. All right. So as a reminder, make sure that you add your own unique name to the restaurant. You put your name into the H2 tag. You have 3 fully written paragraphs, okay, about the food, the theme, and the location. Okay, and then also too that you have 3 menu items, and you're putting the name of the menu item, you're stating the price, and you're including a picture of that menu item in your project. Okay, now once you're done with everything and it seems to be working, you'll click the share button right here, copy right here, okay, and that's going to copy it to your clipboard. You'll come into the assignment and paste it after you click the submit button up here. All right, so I hope this helps. If you have questions, feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to help.